award-winning Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. We're glad you're watching, glad you're tuning in. Once again, this is a show, if you are not watching, you need to go watch on our YouTube page or our Facebook page, because we are Riverside here, and excited to have Miss Sally Petre with us. She's a fisheries biologist, but she loves to hunt. This show's all about R3, and we'll explain all that as we get going. But Mr. Matt Cameron is helping me co-host today, and I appreciate him jumping in. Matt, glad to have you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome back, man. Beautiful day, beautiful setting, and a great show.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially the location. This is a good find. This is where it's all where we're supposed to be, outdoors and enjoying what's out here to see and do. And
makes you want to grab a rod and wet a line, don't it?
It does. It does. This is I'm trying to read the sign. J. Forrest Thompson. Is that right?
Thomas.
Thomas. Thomas. Access area. It's a partnership between TVA and TWRA to make this possible, and it's a fairly new construction. So check it out if you're up in Upper East Tennessee, near Bryson's. Where are we?
Bluff City.
Bluff City.
Piney Flats area.
Yeah. So this is awesome. Sally, I want to thank you for being here.
Of course.
Want to learn more about you and get into this idea or talk about the hunting aspect that you love to do and how it got started. But first, just introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I'm the Streams and Rivers Biologist for Region 4, which is the eastern side of the state. So I work on all of the flowing waters in here. So I actually sample this South Holston tailwater every year, but I also work on brook trout restoration up in the beautiful Smoky Mountains, and then I do work with smallmouth bass on some of the larger rivers, warmer rivers, and then I also work on some large rivers like downtown Knoxville and things like that. So I think I have the best job in the agency because I just get to travel around and check out all the beautiful fishes that we have in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'd say you probably do have one of the top jobs. I'd say people would love to do what you do. You were telling us about this piece of river that said you shock this quite often, and there's quite a few fish in here. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. So we go out with a boat electrofisher, and we'll electrofish the banks, and a lot of times I can't even. I'll be netting on the front of the boat. We've got nets, and I can't even get all of the fish that I see. I can't net them all to get them in the boat to sample them. So it's full of fish.
It's like fishing in a barrel here, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I couldn't even catch one here. I'm so bad. But what all species could we find right here in the South Holston?
You've got your brown trout and your rainbow trout are the two predominant species that people are fishing for.
Any smallmouth to speak of?
Not in this section. Maybe a little bit further down, but not here. It's still pretty cold. Dip your hand in, and it's chilly.
So folks are going fishing right here. They're probably going trout fishing.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know.
That's something that I have not got to do a lot of. I'd love to do more. You put on a little program not too long ago, or this past year.
That's right.
Learn to trout fish, and that went well. And I think we should do more of those. But it's a fun sport to get into. You don't have to have a fly rod. You can use all kinds of stuff, right?
Tackle.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's cool. Well, so you're now here in Tennessee, but you haven't always been part of the crew here at TWRA. Tell us how you got started.
Yeah, so I moved here about 3 years ago, so I've only been with TWRA for 3 years, and I grew up in Pennsylvania and have traveled around a lot trying to figure out just what I wanted to do. I've always been interested in outside, but I wasn't sure exactly, is it fisheries, but I love hunting and, or I just love the, animals. And so I went to school in North Carolina for my undergrad. And then while I was there, I got a bunch of jobs over the summer. One of them was in Utah, working with native fish in the desert, which sounds a little weird.
Wow.
And I also worked in Washington and Oregon a little bit. And from then on, I knew I wanted to move west. I was like set on it. Plus, it's so beautiful. There's elk and high mountains, and so I went out there for more school. I moved to Arizona to study fish, which again seems very odd.
They got fisheries biologists out there.
Yeah, exactly.
They have trout in Arizona, right?
Yeah, there's actually 2 native species of trout in Arizona compared to our 1 brook trout here. So that's how I got on to, I guess, the West is moved out there. And then I really missed my family and missed teaching my nieces and nephews how to, grow up enjoying the outdoors, because my family doesn't hunt or fish. And I wanted to kind of bring that into my family. And I only saw them whenever they came out to Arizona or whenever I came out here. So I saw an opportunity with Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and I took it to get back closer to them. So it's been nice.
That's
I like it.
A big jump, a big leap, and that's awesome. We're glad to have you, though. I know the guys and the gals in Region 4 say great things about what you do, and so it's good to have you for the 3 years. Hope we'll have you longer.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned wanting to introduce your nieces and nephews to hunting and keep them outdoors. That's what we're all about right now, trying to have this R3 focus, and I'm going to put you on the spot. What's R3?
Well, Sally said reduce, reuse, and recycle, which is good. But in our world, in the communications world, it is recruit, retain, and reactivate hunters and anglers in particular. So recruitment, retention, reactivation, I believe, is exactly how you say it.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I think that's right. So, we want to get people into hunting. We want to keep them hunting, fishing, not just hunting. And if they've gotten away from it, we want to bring them back. So I've heard your story, and I want you to tell it, Sally. But that's kind of how you got introduced. You weren't a hunter. You said your family doesn't hunt, doesn't fish.
Yeah.
But now you're knee deep, into it. So tell us how that got started.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania, in like the middle of nowhere, kind of like almost here where we are.
Yeah. It's nice.
I know. And I grew up. It was just my mom. I grew up a single parent family, and my mom always pushed us to do everything possible. We actually lived on a small farm. We had chickens and all sorts of various things. So I understand the idea of eating what you raise, and then we also hiked and camped, and I can remember being dragged up the mountain by my brother because I didn't want to go hiking, but I've always been or forced into the outdoors or into it, and so I went to school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be outside. That's about it. And I chose fisheries because I liked water and I loved like chemistry, and I know that sounds odd, but the water quality and making the water quality good for the fish. And so with that, I met lots of people who fished and hunted, which has been great because I've been able to get have a lot of different mentors in my life, which is really what got me into hunting. I was a little bit nervous to tell people that I didn't know how to hunt and fish because all the people that I was surrounded with, did that. But once I admitted that I wasn't sure what I was doing, a lot of people came to me and, asked me how could I help, or I asked them, can you take me?
Right. I'd say they were more than happy to show you the ropes.
Exactly. Right? And I've learned that a lot of the people who are passionate about hunting and fishing want to share that. And I feel the same way. Now that I feel comfortable hunting, I want to take people out and I want to get them to get their first squirrel or their first, deer or whatever it is, because it's a passion. It's really exciting to see them experience that. So I guess I got into it by admitting that I didn't know what I was doing and be willing to learn about it, and have those mentors in my life that have really helped me and taken me through the process of it all.
Yeah. That's, I think about the age that you are. So you were in college at this time.
Yeah.
So you've got 20-year-olds that, or have probably been hunting and fishing all their life. That's why they're there to study this. They want to be a biologist or a game warden or whatever it may be. But you're there because you love water and love fish, but you didn't know you loved to fish and hunt. And and they passed it on to you, and that was that recruitment part,
right.
And then now you're there, and you're wanting to keep people and bring them on, but then keep them out there in the outdoors, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had an opportunity to do that? What's something that stands out where you've taken someone or got somebody hooked?
Yes.
No pun intended, or maybe? I don't know.
So I've taken my mom out squirrel hunting,
Oh,
and so
cool.
yeah, we've gotten squirrel, which is exciting, and then I've taken my nieces and nephew out fishing. So then they just love it. They're still little tots, so they can't handle the gun. But my niece Mackenzie, she's like 7 now. We play hunting, so we hide, and I shoot. Well, she usually shoots, and a teddy bear or something like that, and then we bring it onto the wagon and make it go down into the kitchen and cook it in the kitchen. So it's great.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's one way to start.
Yeah.
Get the basic steps here. This is how it's going to happen, and then we'll get them out there in the real woods.
And they're in Pennsylvania.
They actually live in Georgia, so
okay,
it's
south of
actually
us
pretty close.
Gotcha.
Which is nice.
Much closer than.
Yeah.
See them often.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself looking for public land, or do you have places to go that's private?
Well,
Because there's a lot of public land in Tennessee, a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people get started.
yes. So I hunt on both.
Okay. That's good.
So I mentioned, actually, I think Matt was there. It was one of our first meetings with, I was at a commission meeting, and I was sitting next to Matt and someone else from work, and I mentioned that I wanted to go hunting, and I didn't know where to go. I was new here in Arizona. Everything's public land, and so I was like, what am I supposed to do? And that person was like, hey, I might have a spot where you can come hunt. And so now I help him put food plots in and hang stands, and I've killed a few deer off of that land. But I am an avid public land hunter. I think it's really important that we use our public lands. And so my first really big buck I've gotten, which was a nice big 8-point, was on public land, on TVA public land right off of Cherokee Lake.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely all about the public lands.
So everybody's salivating now, thinking, where's that piece of property?
I know.
It can be done, if you're willing to put the legwork in. There is some good hunting on public lands.
Yeah, and I just hiked in. I know a lot of people sometimes make it complicated. They'll boat in and do all these things. I just hiked in and spent the day out there and made it happen. So.
Now, what kind of firearm were you using, or bow?
Oh yeah, I have a rifle. I have a 7mm 08.
Oh,
so.
You ain't playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was my. I learned how to hunt hunting elk in Arizona, so I had to have something with a little bit of punch.
Absolutely.
So that was my elk rifle.
So you took that.
Go ahead.
In the rifle season, right? So
yeah.
So it's coming up. Here we are, upcoming rifle season. It's just a good time to be in the woods. Muzzleloader going into rifle. The rut's going on.
Yep.
So yeah, if y'all are listening and thinking about getting into hunting, there's no better time than November. It's a hunter's dream come true. Go do it. Get involved now. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Because the activity's so high right now.
Yeah, and the bucks are kind of running around, so I feel like it's not just as much sitting. I didn't understand when I moved here. I had never killed a deer when I moved here, which was 3 years ago, and I didn't know what the rut was or any of this stuff was. So I've been learning a lot, and so it seems like. Normally, before the rut, you kind of hunt, and it's early mornings, late afternoons, or whatever. And so now it seems like the deer get pushed around during the day, which is more fun.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
Those big ones, they can't stand it. They're going to move in the daytime, and they're going to move longer distances, and they just expose themselves to being hunted more. So yeah, don't drag your feet. If you want to kill a good deer, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
And you've been back to Arizona and hunted out there some too. Is that right?
Yeah. So every year I rekindle my friendship with another lady hunter she's actually a wildlife biologist who started hunting late in life when she got to college as well. And so she is a phenomenal hunter, and I've learned so much from her. But we go down to Tucson, Arizona, which is not known as a hunting destination usually, and we hunt for javelina, which are they look like a wild pig. And it's just a fun time. It's not anything about, I don't hunt for big racks or anything like that. That's a fun thing where we get some meat.
Just a bonus.
And it's, yeah.
To get a rack. So how do you hunt the javelina? I've never done that.
Yeah, that's a great question. They're teeny tiny. They're like knee high. So they're really hard to see. And you get up really early and you glass for them, or you look for them on mountaintops when they're moving. And then you try, it's more like stalking. So you try and figure out where they're going to, and you get in front of them. And the great part is they don't see well. They might smell you, but they don't see well. So and they travel in herds. So once you get to, once you find them and get close in range, usually if you've got two hunters, you both can kill, because one person will shoot, or you can shoot at the same time, and then they'll kind of scatter in any which way that their nose is pointing, and then they'll stop. And it won't be very far. So as long as you're all ready, you can shoot. Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Do you eat them?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people don't eat them, but I'm all about eating whatever I kill. Yeah. So as long as, it's kind of like deer, as long as you treat the meat right or anything, I'll usually get, 10 pounds of meat or something like that.
Off of one.
So it's not a lot, but...
Wow.
Yeah.
More than a squirrel.
Yeah, it's more than a squirrel.
No doubt.
And then we'll hunt jackrabbits and all sorts of other fun things while we're out there after we get our big, javelina kill.
Nice. And you had the pictures a year or two ago of a pretty nice buck you took out there.
Yeah.
Is that a whitetail or?
It's a Coues white-tailed deer. Yeah. And I got a nice, I think it was an 8-point. And they're a smaller subspecies of the whitetail here. But... Yeah, it was fun. That season's in, I guess, October. So it was nice. It was down by the Mexico border. Yeah, it was neat.
So teach us,
teach me a lot, because I've never done any of those.
I've never been hunting in Arizona. How would one get a permit to go hunting out there?
That's a great question. So you have to buy a hunting license and put in, and they have a draw system. And so if you get drawn for a tag, it's for a specific date. It's usually 7 days. And then it's for a specific unit, which is usually public land. And so it's probably smaller than the size of a county here. So wow. It's a small, and then usually you kind of just camp out and drive the roads, find a good spot to, or hike into a really high spot where you can see a big distance, and sit and glass and look for deer or javelina or elk or whatever you want, and then stalk it.
Now, have you got to hunt elk before?
Yeah, so elk was my first big game kill.
What? Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Tell us about that.
Well, my mentor told me, Rick, he said, now you're interested in hunting. We want you to kill an elk because it has a really big kill zone. You can shoot anywhere in this big area and it'll be okay. So yeah, my first elk hunt, I was unsuccessful, which I think a lot of people who are new to hunting, you're learning a lot. I learned something every day. I was exhausted. I didn't get anything. I put in again, and I killed on the last night of the hunt. And I was so exhausted. I set up at a water hole, and I had some antelope come in. It was really pretty. And then finally, the elk came in. And I still remember, I was all by myself, and I was so nervous. I remember texting my friend. I was like, oh no, the elk have come in, now I have to, this is it. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. So I pulled the trigger, and there were 3 elk, and I pulled it on what I thought was a small elk, but I had no real reference size. It ended up being a giant, female cow elk. And she ended up dying in the water hole.
Oh, yeah.
And I was terrified that she was going to sink in there, and I didn't know how to gut it. I can't move an elk. They're giant. So I called my friends, who of course weren't available for a few hours. So I was pretty sure if I left her, she was going to sink and I would have to go scuba diving, but none of that happened. I was able to strip down into my long underwear and swim out there to her and drag her in, which was fun. Wow. And then gutted her up, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot, and it was the last evening of the hunt, so it was pretty rewarding.
Yeah,
That's an adventure.
hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
out there.
you just grabbed it and drug it
Yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah. I also was hunting out of a 2003 Corolla, so it was an adventure to figure out what to do when I got the elk with that. So
The quarter this one.
Yeah, the hunters right now, they're all Googling 03 Corolla,
Yeah.
new hunting vehicle, right? Did you strap it to the top of it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
No.
Quarter
It
it
fit
and
pretty good.
sack it out? I mean,
Yeah.
I've never killed an elk, so I can only imagine. Well, I've killed a lot of deer, and just getting
Yeah.
a deer out of the woods
Yeah.
is a chore. So
Yeah.
tell me about an animal that weighs hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, so you'll skin them and quarter them, or I guess you don't have to skin them, but yeah, you skin them and quarter them up, and hopefully call all your friends. And that's the one thing I have learned is I am a person, I like to be by myself. I like the woods. I like doing things
Solitude.
by myself. Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about hunting, but I have really learned that I really like sharing the experience with other people. And so you call all your friends when you get an elk if they're not there with
That's
you.
what a lot of people do in Tennessee. They'll call their buddies. I got a deer down.
Yeah.
Come look at it. Come check it out.
Absolutely.
It's something you do with other people. It's fun. It's a way to hang
Sharing
out.
those experiences with others.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're that sportsman or sportswoman part of your hunting career now that you want to take others and show them how to do it.
Yeah.
And I've killed enough. If I never kill another one, I've done well and I'm satisfied, but I would rather take somebody else, let them experience that for the first
Yeah.
time, and hopefully get them hooked on it.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
the same way.
Well, tell us about the license. We'll talk about the license process here in Tennessee. We've hit, what you would do if you went to Arizona, but in Tennessee, you go to GoOutdoorsTennessee.com. There's a lot of options for us as Tennesseans. There's the sportsman's license, which covers you for everything. The combo hunting fish that get you started, then you pick your permit or whatever for the type of weapon you're using for the hunt and that kind of thing. But it's real easy. And what do you think about the system? You think it's pretty easy to get
Yeah.
your license and get out there?
Yeah, I'll buy it on the TWA on the Go app, I think, and
Yeah.
I just get the sportsman's license, and that opens up opportunity for me. So it makes it, although it's probably more pricey, I just like not having to worry.
Yeah.
I know I'm good to go wherever where I want to go, and I don't have to.
Nothing to think about.
Yeah.
And then the WMAs, you got
Exactly.
you can get on
Correct.
WMA without having a WMA permit, and so that makes public land hunting even easier. So just hop out there.
Yep.
Cool. One thought I had was you talked about you already harvested an animal this year, right? The deer?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
But do you hunt with bow or muzzleloader or anything like that?
Yeah. So, I started out rifle hunting because it's easier and you can shoot longer distances than your typical bow or muzzleloader usually.
Sure.
But when I moved here, in Arizona, you couldn't use a crossbow, and I had never done bow stuff before. And so I got a crossbow when I moved here, and I've been crossbow hunting, and I also have a muzzleloader. So I actually was nervous about guns when I first started hunting, and I need to see how it works. And so muzzle loading, I can see how it works, and I put the black powder in and the bullet in, and it goes. So I
Yeah.
actually liked muzzle loading a lot better than rifle hunting when I first started. But
And it's one of the better times to be out.
Yeah.
Out
My
in
goodness.
Tennessee.
I agree.
Without a doubt.
yeah.
Talk about the process of. I lost my train of thought.
I got one while you're
Go
thinking
ahead,
of it.
yes.
All right, we had lunch before we came over here, and we got to talking about, feeding ourselves. And this was a little bit off subject, but she hasn't killed a deer this year, but she has 30 chickens in the freezer. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about raising chickens.
Yeah.
Living off the land here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up on a small farm which had laying chickens, which we had eggs from them. We never killed them. And so I just bought a piece of property recently with a barn and a few, outbuildings. I was like, I'll just get chickens, no big deal. I ended up getting 30 of them, which turned out to be a big deal. They eat a lot and grow really fast. They got to be 8 weeks and they got to be nice and plump and fat. And so I harvested them instead of spending my time out in the woods. So we plucked them. I dipped them in hot water, killed them and then dipped them in hot water and plucked them, some of them, and then chopped them up, quartered them up like anything else. So.
Wow, you're set.
Yeah, I'm set for a while.
At least for your white meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of deer hunting left to do, so hopefully you can add some venison to the freezer.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Hopefully.
So what if you came across a lady that showed some interest? What would you tell her?
Yeah.
Or a guy? Even.
Yeah. Well, number one step is go and make sure you take your hunter safety course. I would love to take someone out in the woods, but I want to make sure that they're safe and we're safe. And then don't get intimidated. I know I still get intimidated walking into Bass Pro or Cabela's or any of those places, any sportsman or sports store with all the gear that I feel like when I go in there I need to buy. And just keep it simple. I'm still borrowing a shotgun. I still haven't purchased a shotgun yet. So borrowing rifles is perfectly okay. It seems like there's a lot of money that you need to put into this, but there's really not if you keep it simple and you borrow, see what you like from other people. And again, most people who are interested in or who are passionate about hunting and getting other people hunting, they'll be more than willing, and they understand, here's, I'll let someone borrow whatever as long as I know they're safe.
Right.
So and speaking of hunter education, you can do that all online now. So it's convenient to get it. That was kind of a hindrance in the past for people getting started. It's like, well, it's all of a sudden deer season, they want to go and they can't because they don't have hunter education. They can't get in a class. They're going to have to wait until the spring or whatever. Right. But now you can get online and do it completely online. So don't let that hold you back.
Yeah.
And I agree 100% with you on being a minimalist when it comes to gear.
Yes.
Because I get intimidated going into Bass Pro, and they want you to think, I'm not picking on Bass Pro, but companies in general want you to think you have to have this product to make you successful in the woods. No, if you have a good firearm, it's sighted in properly, and you can go and sit down and work the wind right, you could probably have these clothes we're wearing right now. As long as you sit still and get the wind right, you can successfully harvest a deer. It's not that difficult. If you get in the right place.
You don't have to be in a tree stand. You can be in a ground blind and sit behind a tree. It could be anywhere. The other thought I had earlier was videos. So you can go online. There's all kinds of resources out there to help you learn how to read a map or how to get out there, just any of that stuff, not to get lost in the woods. And
what to do after you shoot the thing.
That's when the work begins right there.
There's a lot of resources out there. And even on our YouTube page, we got a lot of stuff out there for you to watch and learn from. So, Sally, thank you. It's been fun.
Thanks for
having me. We'll have to have you back.
I feel like we're just getting started.
I know.
Conversation here.
Get outside. Get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Try something new and recruit somebody. Stay in the woods and bring somebody back if they've stopped. That's R3. All right. Well, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.